Hello and welcome to the Top 5. I'm Homa Lesgi. Our first story, Syrian forces continue their push to free more areas from militants. Government troops have recaptured positions in the town of Tel Hasel on the outskirts of Aleppo. A Syrian television has described the advance as a major gain for the army. This comes a day after they seized full control of the strategic al-Qala-moun area northeast of the capital, Damascus. Syrian soldiers also managed to regain control of the towns of Hawarin and Mahin in the eastern countryside of Homs. The army says foreign-backed insurgents have suffered heavy losses during the recent mop-up operations. Our correspondent Ala Ibrahim is with us now live from Damascus. So Ala, we've got Aleppo, we've got Homs, and then we've got the areas very close to the capital, Damascus. Tell us about these strategic positions now, how far advanced the soldiers have gotten, and how far are they from recapturing these areas totally from the grip of militants?
Well, the recent days have witnessed substantial gains and advances for the Syrian army. The major advancement was in Aleppo countryside. The Syrian army now controls over 30% of the countryside, completely controls over 30% of the countryside of Aleppo, and now with its recent achievement in Tel Hasel and Tel Hasel. Why these towns are important is because they are very close to Aleppo International Airport, and securing these towns would allow the airport authority to continue with civil aviation from and in and out of Aleppo, which means that the siege that the insurgents have imposed on the city of Aleppo is effectively over through a land route, which is the route through Khanasir to Aleppo, and now Aleppo International Airport going back to be operational for civilian aviation. That's the first achievement. The second achievement is in central Syria, which is Mahin and Hawarin, the ones you also mentioned in the introduction. Mahin is the location of a very large and strategic storage, weapons storage bases for the Syrian army that the insurgents seized in the past few days, and they said they are going to empty these storages and take all the ammunition and weapons inside them. Obviously, the Syrian army, by retaking the warehouses, it was able to salvage the majority of the weapons inside these storages. And why this is important is because in the area of al-Qala-moun, also it's stretched between Damascus countryside and Homs in central Syria. The insurgents have had three supply lines. The first supply lines was through the mountains with Lebanon and Wadi Khalid. This supply line will be cut off in the winter with the snow because of natural reasons. The second supply line was through Qusayra and Jusia, which was cut by the Syrian army and fighters from the Hezbollah party this year also by their Operation Qusayr. And the last supply line was the one coming from Damascus all the way from Jordan, and that's also cut off because of the Syrian army's cycle that is creating around the city of Damascus in the countryside of Damascus, meaning that insurgents in this vital area in central Syria between Damascus countryside and Homs will be cut off without any supply lines, and when the Syrian army decides to launch the final operation against them, eliminating them won't be difficult. However, we should mention that the international road linking Damascus to Homs was cut off today for over 2 hours because of the intense clashes in al-Qala-moun area near Qara town, but the Syrian army have told us that they managed to reopen the road right now. The insurgents did not make it to cut off the road, but the severe clashes made the army order a close down of the road to maintain the security and the safety of the passengers on the road. And the third substantial achievement, which can be linked to the second one, is the Syrian army's advancement in Qala-moun area, which caused the clashes we were speaking about just briefly. Generally speaking, the gains that the Syrian army is making won't dramatically change the balance of powers or the balance of control on the ground, but what it will create more leverage for the Syrian government forces, and it will create it will make the Syrian ordinary citizen more relaxed in everyday living, because now Aleppo has better supply lines, Damascus have better supply lines, and life would be easier for Syrians, which will enable the government to put more effort into securing more areas and eliminating insurgent presence in other areas.
Thank you very much. Ala Ibrahim, our correspondent in Damascus, with us there.